Hello and welcome to another video. Today I have this iPhone 17 Pro, not the Max, just a regular Pro. So we're gonna open it up and see what's inside. I am a few months late on this unboxing, but let's see how it works. Okay, so very simple unboxing with Apple's as usual. On the inside, there's just the phone and the cable. No more labels, no more of the other extras anymore. There's a little user manual thing in here. There's eSIM, so there's no eSIM removal trays or anything like that. Card that says you no longer need a physical SIM, so they haven't included a SIM removal tool. I don't know why, but every year I hold on to the iPhone box, knowing full well that I don't need the iPhone box in the future. This year, I'm probably gonna throw it away. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so there's this white cover. Let's peel that off. The cable is a nice braided cable. It's been like this for a couple of years, so I'm happy that they're still including a cable. While the phone is brand new, I'm gonna go ahead and put that screen protector on before it gets all dirty. There you go, the screen protector's on, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the phone for the first time. I feel like I didn't touch the screen at all, but I still got a couple of specks in there. I don't know why it is, but I always get a couple of specks in there. Okay, so there we go, phone's ready to use. I'm gonna go ahead and set it up. All right, so the phone's completely set up. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, transferring data from the old phone, but I guess it really depends on what the old phone is, what the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connection is like between the phones. I have looked to the camera and kind of want to show you. So I'm going to do this 1x photo, right? And then I'll show you something. So, okay. So we just took that photo right on the camera and let's zoom in here. And so this is what the details you see, right? You don't really see any noise. It's all very accurate. So that's the main sensor. All right. Now let's go to 4x. And you can see it's super stable, right? I'm like bracing the phone against the table there, super stable. All right, picture looks great. No noise. Okay, let's go to 8x because it's giving me this option. It's giving me this this perception that you have access to 8x native, right? Optical. But that's not the case, right? You can start seeing a lot of noise in the picture. So it's just a crop of that 4x, which we all know, but I think the fact that they give you this 8x button here kind of makes it think that there is a optical 8x. I wish they would only give you these buttons for the native 48 megapixel optical spots rather than these mid spots like a 2x and an 8x, which is going to introduce noise because it's a crop of the 4x or a crop of the 8x, right? All right. And then this is the 0.5x. You can see how much wider you can get. And then let me show you the standard stage. So I'm going to flip the camera over, and this is what we get as a standard stage. We can widen the view. This is how wide you get. And then we can also, while the phone is in portrait mode, we can actually make the picture landscape. And so that's center stage. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I do like that. When using center stage though, you can't zoom in. So as you can see, you can't really zoom in except for 0.5x to 1x, which I think is a missed opportunity. I think they should have added some zoom to the center stage. Of course, it's the first iteration of the center stage camera, so I don't think it's as good. The sensor is not as good. When I do take a selfie, let's do a selfie here, and we're in a pretty well lit environment, right? So let's do a selfie. Okay, now let's zoom in. Lots of noise. Look at the amount of noise. I mean, you get the beard here, so that's good. But if you look into the darks, you can see a lot of noise. Of course, you can do 0.5x there. I mean, first you can zoom out there and you're not going to see a bunch of noise, but and any zoom level. So here, I'm going to angle myself towards the window so I have better lighting. And now let's zoom in. Much better, right? But still, look at the darks and there's a lot of noise. Now, I think that's something they can fix by software, or as they get better at processing the image from this new sensor, they'll figure it out. I do think the colors are a little more saturated than they are in real life on the center stage, and there is a little bit of noise introduction. But otherwise, it's a really good camera. Video on the center stage, again, you can still do those things. You can do a 16 by 9 landscape or a 9 by 16 portrait mode video. You can see that when you do the 9 by 16, it looks a little bit more noisy just because you're zooming in. Dual capture, which is where you capture the front and the back camera at the same time. Now, this is a new feature that's really amazing for somebody like me. So if I'm talking about, for example, if I'm talking about a product, I can have my face, or showing somebody something, I can have my face in the video, and you can look at the expression while you're looking at the product itself. So that's pretty cool. When you're off screen, you can click the camera action button and open up the camera without any issues. While you're in the camera, you can soft touch it and change things like zoom or exposure. So you can actually there you go, you can just slide up the zoom. Another tip I want to talk about when you're using your phone, so if you're using 1x, but you want to zoom in just a little bit, but not 2x, where it's going to be a crop, you click on that 1 and it's going to change the lens, because the Fusion camera has 3 lenses, and then you can change it to 35 millimeter as well. So it's 1.2 and 1.5x, and that's with the native lens, so it's not a crop, and so you're going to still get great quality picture without having a crop of the 4x. So you can do 2x or 1x, 1.2x, 1.5x, and then 4x, and that's all with the native lenses. So then you don't have any crop. And then actually, if you like the millimeters, you can here see the x and the millimeter. And you can always zoom in by rotating your wheel here as well. So that's another way to zoom in if you wanted to get exact. And let's take that picture and see how it looks. Yeah, lots of details as you can expect. So the cameras are definitely amazing. Lots of different tweaking and editing you can do of the settings. So if you just go to the camera settings, you can control a lot of things. You can actually change your photography style. Some people like a little tint to their picture, a rose gold tint. It actually does look, some of these are really good. So like I like my pictures rose gold undertones, but if you like them neutral, you can like them cool rose, like that's a lot of options. So I think I'm going to keep it at standard for now. I mean, this has been around for a while, but they've made it better with this iteration. Definitely looks way better now. Okay, so the shooting modes have now gone up to 4K at 120 FPS. Used to be at 4K at 60 FPS. Now it's 120 FPS. Let's see, slow-mo also you can do at 240 frames per second, 180. That I think is not new. When you go into your settings and look at the storage, you will notice, I've already deleted this, but numbers, pages, sheets, all these apps, like the Office apps that are native to Apple, they were all 500 gigs each, which was about 2.5 or 3 gigs that I cleared up. There's over 1.5 gigs of GarageBand installed. All of these apps take up a lot of space, essentially bloatware. You can remove those unless you truly use those. That's a lot of space you're wasting, because the iOS now has such a big footprint. The Apple Intelligence, you can see when you first get the phone, it's still downloading. It takes a while for that to start working. You can use the extensions like ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you want, and they kind of summarize your notifications, stuff like that. Other than that, I haven't seen any difference compared to like an iPhone 15 that we were using. The action button, you can of course customize what you do with it. I've set it to flashlight. So if I press and hold, so I can hold to turn off. But you can make it like a silent mode button, so you'll press and hold in silent mode. I do think that they could have added more customizations where you could single click for one function and a long click for a different function, but that setting's not on there yet, but I think eventually they'll add that on. You can also put that phone in power save mode with that button, stuff like that, so you can do many things with that. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that are new if you're coming from an iPhone 15 or older. Otherwise, there's nothing crazy. The screen is slightly bigger, slightly brighter. The battery is slightly longer lasting. The camera is slightly better. Everything's slightly better. Nothing major, not a big leap forward. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.